rumors about Dr. Umar Johnson allegedly being arrested, all because he been scamming and scheming for the past 20 years. He been working on building a school, but he acquired millions and the school's still not up and running.
Now, according to IRS Form 990, the filings reveal disturbing financial irregularities, okay, with Jermaine Shermark. That's how he files it. He doesn't file it under Dr. Umar Shermark. It's Jermaine, okay?
And the bank told me to enter my 16-digit card number. I did that. They told me they had no record of my account. They had no record of my...
So, reports are now surfacing that Dr. Umar Johnson is facing serious federal scrutiny, with allegations that could potentially lead to major legal consequences. Authorities are reportedly looking into claims of racketeering, tax issues, and financial misconduct. What makes this story even more shocking are the documents investigators say connect directly to the donations that were supposed to go toward building a school. Now, Dr. Umar finds himself under intense pressure, and this time it may not be easy to simply talk his way through the controversy. The big question everyone is asking right now is Dr. Umar truly guilty of wrongdoing, or could he actually be the target of a larger setup?
Like, Dr. Umar is not a real person that anybody should be taking any advice from. I hope that we all understand that, but it seems like some folks are surprised.
Before diving into the details of these allegations, we need to rewind to the moment Dr. Umar Johnson first realized that legal trouble was closing in, and it was clear he wasn't taking it lightly. Recently, he went live on Instagram, speaking passionately about how he believes the system is working against him, insisting that he is simply a man trying to uplift his community. In classic Dr. Umar style, the live stream was emotional and full of energy, but this time there was something different. He appeared visibly shaken, almost as if the weight of the situation had finally hit him. During the broadcast, he even mentioned that his financial accounts had been frozen, a statement that connects directly to the ongoing investigation. And now, many are wondering, is this the breaking point for Dr. Umar? Or is it just the beginning of a much larger fight?
Dr. Umar has access to no money right now because my personal account contains all of my money. I only send it to Apple Pay and PayPal as necessary. So the Prince of Pan-Africanism, for the first time in my life, is without any digital currency. So for my loyal supporters out there, if you can spare a few dollars so I can take care of Queen Mother Ifa Tunde and myself until my bank account is frozen or canceled so I can get my money back and open up a new account, please hit my Apple Pay or hit my PayPal.
Reports are now surfacing that Dr. Umar Johnson is facing serious federal scrutiny, with allegations that could potentially lead to major legal consequences, including claims of racketeering, tax issues, and financial misconduct. And what makes this story even more shocking are the documents investigators say connect directly to the donations that were supposed to be used for building a school. Now, Dr. Umar finds himself under intense pressure, and this time it may not be easy to simply talk his way through the controversy. And before diving into the details of these allegations, we need to rewind to the moment Dr. Umar Johnson first realized that legal trouble was closing in, because recently he went live on Instagram, speaking passionately about how he believes the system is working against him, insisting that he is simply a man trying to uplift his community. But during that live stream, he appeared visibly shaken and even mentioned that his financial accounts had been frozen, a statement that connects directly to the ongoing investigation. And according to reports, his broadcast happened right after federal authorities instructed him to surrender, with Dr. Umar eventually turning himself in quietly while reportedly asking his close circle to minimize press coverage. But what he may not have expected was that federal investigators would later release documents tied to the case, which only raised more questions about his financial dealings. And as he attempted to keep these legal troubles out of the spotlight, online commentator Tasha K stepped in with her own reporting, where she broke down the allegations and presented records suggesting that donations linked to Dr. Umar's school are at the center of the indictment, with claims that some of the funds may not have been properly handled or accounted for, and that possible tax issues are now part of the case. And while these are still allegations, the combination of federal filings and public commentary has left audiences asking the same big question. Is Dr. Umar truly guilty of wrongdoing, or could he actually be the target of a larger setup?
Now, according to IRS Form 990, the filings reveal disturbing financial irregularities, okay, with Jermaine Shermark. That's how he files it. He doesn't file it under Dr. Umar. It's Jermaine, okay? Now, the nonprofit shows assets of $634,436 as of 2024. This is what he's saying that he raised. This is what he reported. Okay, now you know he go begging inside of that car without a haircut every other day or on the side of the building in which he lives in, because they say his house is right there on a row house in Philadelphia somewhere. Okay, according to the IRS filings, this is inconsistent reporting of contributions. Okay, now while official filings show that only $321,408 in total contributions over the last 5 years, evidence suggests Johnson raised significantly more through.
For years, Dr. Umar Johnson has been soliciting public donations with the stated goal of building and opening a school. And unlike many projects that begin with some personal investment, reports suggest that nearly every contribution has come directly from supporters. However, questions continue to surround the transparency of these efforts, since Dr. Umar has never publicly disclosed the full amount, collected or provided detailed records showing how those funds were used, and instead, much of his messaging online has focused on urging African Americans to step away from the traditional public school system and support his vision, which has left audiences divided, with some supporters believing deeply in his mission while critics point to the lack of progress as a reason for concern, especially since the school has faced repeated delays despite years of fundraising. And prosecutors now argue that these delays could be connected to larger financial issues, highlighted in the ongoing federal case, citing as one example an incident reported in June in which Dr. Umar claimed the school building had been vandalized, damaging the library, cultural artifacts, and educational supplies, though notably leaving the structure itself intact. And while this was presented publicly as a setback that made opening the school impossible this year, authorities now suggest that such events may have been used to explain away why the institution has not yet opened despite significant donations. And further controversy was stirred when Dr. Umar posted a video of himself questioning children about the alleged vandalism, a move that drew criticism since, according to viewers, it appeared that parental consent was not obtained before sharing the footage, and all of this combined has fueled the ongoing debate over whether Dr. Umar is facing unfair obstacles in his mission, or whether the allegations of financial misconduct point to a deeper problem that the courts will now have to address.
Peace and Pan-Africanism, brothers and sisters. I'm back again. While I was on the live, the children had snuck into the school, which means they knew the door was unlocked. Listen to me, brothers and sisters. For children to know that a door is opened, and I was only away from the school for 30 days. For children to know that the door was open, and I was only away from the school for 30 days. For children to know the door was open and I was only away from the school for 30 days, I wonder when they broke in. I wonder when they broke in, because if the children already know the door was open.
Authorities reportedly struggled to determine what exactly took place during the alleged vandalism incident, and to this day, there has been no independent confirmation of what actually happened inside the building. In fact, the only piece of evidence ever made public was a short video clip shared online by Dr. Umar himself, which has since fueled debate, with some supporters viewing it as proof that the school had genuinely been targeted, while critics argue that the footage leaves more questions than answers, especially since it does not clearly establish who was responsible or what specific damage occurred. And this uncertainty has only added another layer of controversy to the broader conversation surrounding Dr. Umar's school project and the federal case connected to it. For years, Dr. Umar Johnson has been soliciting public donations for a proposed school. And while he has urged supporters to move away from traditional public education and funnel resources into his project, persistent questions have emerged about transparency and progress. Critics note that almost all funding appears to have come from public contributions, and that Dr. Umar has not publicly disclosed complete accounting for those funds, while supporters insist on his mission, tensions that escalated when a live stream surfaced shortly after. Authorities reportedly instructed him to surrender, showing him visibly shaken and saying his accounts had been frozen. And although he reportedly turned himself in quietly to limit press attention, subsequent events only deepened scrutiny. Prosecutors and commentators point to repeated delays in opening the school. A claimed vandalism incident in June that Dr. Umar said damaged the library and cultural items but left the building's structure intact. And a short video clip he shared, the only publicly released footage tied to that incident, which many viewers said did not clearly prove the extent of the damage or identify responsible parties. Meanwhile, some online commentators, including a high-profile creator who published a detailed breakdown, have presented figures they say are connected to the case and highlighted apparent gaps in financial records. And reporting circulating online has claimed that unpaid property registration fees and utilities led to the property-facing auction proceedings with an August 25, 2025 deadline unless bills were paid. Claims Dr. Umar denounced as punitive and discriminatory, while asking for further support and, perhaps most damaging in public, discussion are leaked documents and third-party reports that allege more than $1.50 million in donations flowed through platforms like GoFundMe and PayPal for various causes tied to him, with critics asking for clearer accounting of where that money went. Importantly, these points remain part of an ongoing legal and public debate. Some are drawn from federal filings and media reports, others from leaked materials and online reporting, and until courts and independent investigators resolve the matter, the questions about whether these are signs of misconduct, mismanagement, or something else remain unresolved, leaving audiences sharply divided over Dr. Umar's intentions and the fate of the school project.
Supported GoFundMe campaigns, all right, that he's been suspended from through 2014 and 2015 of over $400,000 raised before the account suspension. That's a lot of money for GoFundMe, okay? PayPal donations, approximately $125,000 documented. Speaking fees and direct donations, estimated $750,000. This man raised all this money and ain't got a haircut yet. Total estimated funds, 1.6 to 2 million that they can account for, and this is with them digging. They've been on this, okay? And we're gonna talk about how much they've been on it, and that's the reason why that damn school is on the auction block right now, vacant school that never opened. And he promised to open it in 2013 and kept pushing back the opening date and blamed us, well, not me, y'all, if y'all donated, as to why it can't open, because black people can't stick together, okay? Even though he was running it like a mom and pop.
For a long time, Dr. Umar Johnson's approach of rallying support and deflecting criticism seemed to work. But over time, more voices began questioning his methods and motives, raising points he could not easily dismiss. Among them was outspoken commentator Charleston White, who in a recent discussion publicly criticized Dr. Umar's style of engagement, alleging that his messaging often relies heavily on emotional appeals directed toward women in the community, with claims that this tactic is less about empowerment and more about financial support. And while these are Charleston White's views rather than proven facts, his comments reflect a growing skepticism among some observers who believe that Dr. Umar's strategies, whether intentional or not, may be designed to secure loyalty and donations rather than deliver measurable results. A perspective that adds yet another layer to the wider debate surrounding Dr. Umar's fundraising, leadership, and the ongoing legal questions tied to his highly publicized school project.
You mentioned Umar Johnson, and I don't know what's going on with his school, but I know that
you
there
know
was
what's
like
going on with the school. It ain't been built. Shit, ain't nobody seen the classroom. Just seen the flag hanging out, flying in front of that.
He been talking about it for 15 years, 16 years or something like that.
Yeah. He been lying. And results is everything.
Yeah.
Results is everything. I ain't never seen him build nothing bigger other than Joel Osteen, but his daddy passed him to church.
Yeah, that is true.
His daddy passed. I ain't never seen him build nothing bigger.
Over time, even some of Dr. Umar Johnson's supporters began to express doubts about his project, with critics arguing that while he often presents himself as a strong ally to black women and a defender of cultural values, his responses to scrutiny sometimes appear dismissive or even combative. What made this shift more surprising was that it wasn't only detractors raising questions. Former allies also began to distance themselves, pulling back financial support, unfollowing him on social media, and in some cases publicly voicing concerns about accountability. One of the most notable voices to weigh in was filmmaker and activist Tariq Nasheed, who spoke about Dr. Umar in an interview with DJ Vlad. Tariq explained that he initially believed in Umar's school project and even contributed financially, but over time he began losing confidence as he noticed the focus shifting toward social media controversies and away from the original vision of building an educational institution. In that interview, Tariq reflected on their past friendship, admitting that he once respected Umar's mission but ultimately felt let down as distractions and drama took center stage. His comments have added weight to ongoing conversations about the credibility of the project, highlighting how skepticism is no longer limited to outsiders but now includes voices that once stood firmly in Dr. Umar's corner.